it looks like a city because I don't see the rides because I'm visually impaired and the sky is black.
This is Mia. She just experienced a day she will not soon forget.
It's an unbelievable experience. It's a life-changing experience for me as it is for the life-changing experience for the kids. It's phenomenal. It's amazing.
Every year, over 100 kids with special needs are fortunate enough to be selected for the trip of a lifetime. They wake up at the crack of dawn, get on a plane, and head straight to Disney World. For a whole day, they get to forget about their home life, limitations, and just get to be kids and have fun. This endeavor takes hundreds of man-hours, careful planning, an army of volunteers, and a lot of fundraising. All of it is worth it to see these kids smile. This incredible day is made possible by the amazing people at Dreams Take Flight.
Our voices.
Our stories.
Our community.
Flight morning, 3:30 a.m. Before Mia and the other children start arriving, final flight plans are organized. The plane is inspected. The kids start to arrive to sign in, dressed head to toe in an outfit donated by sponsors. Sun hat, jacket, shirt and pants with the Dreams Take Flight logo, and even a pair of shoes. Parents give their kids one last hug before their groups are joined.
Glasses in there, right?
Yeah.
Have fun.
And then
As volunteers give everyone their marching orders, nothing could have adequately prepared the kids for the day ahead. And it begins with the opening of the giant Air Canada hangar doors.
Best part for me is when the door opens. All the kids are inside. There's like an alarm goes off, like a submarine that's about to go down, and there's that big horn honking. The doors open, there's a whole bunch of characters there that are pushing the door open, and the plane's sitting there all lit up. To me, that means we're ready to go, we're ready to roll. The hair on my arm stands up, and it's just, that's the moment for me.
Once everyone is settled, the flight takes off. It lands 3 hours later in Orlando, Florida, and passes through a celebratory waterfall from local firefighters. On the ground, a whole new crew of volunteers eagerly await their special guests. Groups are joined and make their way to the buses and make their way to Disney's Magic Kingdom.
We hit the park and everybody splits up. They go in different directions so that 300 people don't go to one ride at a time. You know, some people go deep into the park right away, start at Adventureland in the back of the park.
With all the attractions and things to see, Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom truly is a kid's playground.
there's rides. There's rides.
Rides like Dumbo, where kids get to soar in the flying elephant. Thrilling roller coasters with fast turns and drops. Disney's Toy Story-themed laser rides, where kids get to attack the evil Zurg. Car racing, where the kids get to drive, and even more. None of the children on this journey have ever been to Disney World before. Most have never even been to a local fair, so the idea of what Disney World really is unbelievable. Like a chance meeting with Rapunzel.
We have a long braid.
I do. Do you like it?
Yes, it's so pretty.
Are you any good at braiding?
No.
No. Do you think perhaps I could teach you to braid sometime?
I know how to braid.
Oh, you already know how to braid.
But I just bad at it. In kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, I dressed up as you.
You dressed like me?
Yeah.
Bye. Have a good day.
My hair's not blonde, it's white.
It looks beautiful.
The way the place is set up, there's just one thing after another to see and to be amazed at and to look at. It's really beautiful.
Coming up, we learn more about the organization and what it really takes to put on a trip of this scale every year.
Our community will return after the break.
We now return to our community.
Dreams Take Flight is a 100% volunteer-run organization that was born in 1989.
Hi, my name is Brian Roscoe. I'm president of Dreams Take Flight Montreal chapter. Well, Dreams Take Flight started in 1989. There was a group of Toronto employees that wanted to take some kids to Canada's Wonderland. which is about 40 minutes north of Toronto. But instead, someone said, hey, we're an airline, why don't we take some kids to Disney? It was a huge dream, nobody had ever done it before from the airline. So they ended up getting a DC-9, putting 70 kids and a bunch of volunteers, and did the first trip to Walt Disney World. And that started the whole thing. And they did that a couple of years, and other cities got involved and started their own flights. And now there's 8 flights across the country that take kids from most of the Air Canada centers. There's about 152 kids traveling with us this year. And totally, we've taken almost 4,000 kids to Walt Disney World. That's just the Montreal chapter. And globally, we've taken, I think it's 37 to 38,000 kids across the country to either Walt Disney World or Disneyland in California.
Dreams Take Flight works with local organizations to identify children in all walks of life who wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity to go to Walt Disney World.
We use a lot of different agencies throughout the city, and the kids basically have a criteria to follow. They have to be between 6 and 12 years old, and they have never been to a Disney park before or ever in the foreseeable future, and they have to be physically, mentally, or socially challenged.
My name's Steve Traherne. I'm one of the pediatricians who goes on the Dreams Take Flight to Disney every year. Been doing it for 14 years now, and it's a great day. It's kids who have intellectual disabilities. We have trisomy 21 kids, right to kids who are severely handicapped, bad cerebral palsy or other neurodegenerative diseases, who are wheelchair bound. We have children who are diabetic. We have children who are blind, as you know, but who are medically stable. So they can tolerate the flights, they can tolerate the very long day, because it is a very long day.
You know, a lot of people get the impression that the kids we take are all dying, but that's not true. We have lost a few over the years, but for the most part, it's just kids that are having a tough time in life, or maybe something just tragic just happened in their life, and so we take them to kind of refocus them for a while and get them away from that bad mindset and let them have a lot of fun.
This is Mia. She was adopted at the age of 2 and came to Canada from an orphanage in China.
Hi, I'm Karen Eady, and I'm Mia's mum. I live on Ilus Alimet, that's out in the western Pontiac. Mia joined our family when she was 2 years old. It was a fairly lengthy process going through an adoption, but it's something we're very thankful for, was worthwhile. And we knew when we were going through this process that she would have a special need, and we chose a visual special need and knew that she would have albinism when we met her. Officially, she's legally blind, but the numbers don't always mean anything, because it depends on how the lighting is, where we're at, if she's looking at something close or far, if she's tired. She can seem to be doing just fine one moment, and then if the sun hits her the wrong way, she won't see anything. Or walking along fine, but misses a step if you let go of her hand and you're not paying attention that there's a slope. And then other times, you might not notice. She gets around quite well. She's adaptable.
Mia has a rare form of albinism, and it's because of her disability that she was chosen to join other children from all over Quebec to take part in this annual tradition. Mia was selected by AQP-EHV. It's an association of parents with children with visual impairments much like Mia. For a child like Mia, the thought of going to Walt Disney World would never have crossed her mind.
I am Moana. Do the interview to Moana.
Hi, Moana. How are you?
Coming up, we'll meet some of the volunteers that make the trip happen and climb into someone's bag and make our way to Walt Disney World.
Our community will return after the break.
We now return to our community.
Founded in 1989, the Dreams Take Flight organization leveraged the reach of its sponsors, and it's become an annual tradition with chapters in Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. Although Dreams Take Flight was born from the minds of Air Canada employees, these trips are not the work of the company. Air Canada is a sponsor, while the volunteers do all the heavy lifting year in and year out to make sure the day goes off without a hitch. Montreal chapter president Brian Roscoe.
In the park, we're minimum 1 volunteer for every 2 kids, but there's some children need higher maintenance, So they might be one-on-one, kids in wheelchairs, maybe blind children, children that have hearing problems might have a one-on-one. It just depends. But all told, there's hundreds of volunteers. You see here in the hangar today for the registration day, there's a lot of people here that were not going to go on the flight, but they're just happy to help out. Some people volunteer for an organization, want to give 20 hours a week. Some people want to give 2 hours a month, but we have a whole range of people.
Volunteers range from existing and retired Air Canada employees to former sponsors and family of people who have volunteered in years past.
Hi, my name is Ross Fraser. I've been a volunteer with Dreams Take Flight for almost 20 years. I was introduced to Dreams Take Flight through a friend who was involved in sponsoring all of the clothing for Dreams Take Flight, and he was telling me about the initiative, and I said, wow, I'd love to learn more about it. He invited me out to a media launch at the hangar here at in Dorval, the Air Canada hangar, and they had this 10-year-old boy who had burns to 90% of his body, who stood up at the microphone and talked about how his experience going down with Dreams Take like the previous year had changed his life forever. It was an incredible, it had me emotionally involved right away. I went back to my friend and said I'd be very happy to be a sponsor. So my company sponsored a few children over many, many years. And I said at the same time, if you ever need help in escorting the kids down to Florida for the day, my wife and I would love to be involved. And they called us back and allowed us to go down the first year, and this is now my 20th year going down with the trip. It's an unbelievable experience. It's a life-changing experience for me as it is for the life-changing experience for the kids. It's phenomenal. It's amazing.
Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, forever that is holding banner high, 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 high.
While the term life-changing is echoed throughout the experience, the impact of this one day truly does resonate.
Well, it's amazing. Every day is different. Every group is different. Each year you have a different group of age groups of kids and various backgrounds, whether they're handicapped or severely underprivileged. It's just an amazing group of special young people, and many of whom it appears their lives are so difficult that this little ray of sunshine that Air Canada provides them on this day is something that they remember for the rest of their lives. And many of them have said, I didn't realize that there was such happiness and joy in life. And that really tugs at your heart. It's an amazing, amazing experience.
Everyone, including the pilots, flight attendants, ground crew in Montreal and in Florida, to the medical professionals that accompany the trip, all donate their time as volunteers.
The volunteers are every aspect of Air Canada. There's people from the medical clinic, there's people that work in engineering, there's people that work on the ramp, people that load the airplane, there's people that work in cargo, people that work in headquarters, in office buildings. It's just a cross section of Air Canada. But there are also resources from outside that we use, and we bring people with us. Like the doctors don't work for Air Canada, but they volunteer every year, and there's quite a few outside volunteers now.
Our job sort of starts after the initial application of kids for the flight has come in, and they get passed on to us just as a final okay. They're usually very well selected, so it's rare that we would have to say that a child isn't able to go for whatever reason. We're really there as a backup in case something goes wrong. It sounds so corny, because you think this is just too nice, and it's wonderful. So for a day, everything's good for a day.
It's just a great day where the kids can get away from hospitals or appointments, all those things that they have to routinely go through, and just let them forget about the bad side of the world, and they just go down there and it's just have fun all day, eat what they want, as long as they're not allergic to it, but they can have anything they want. It's just a fun day. We can't save the world, but if you can put a smile on a kid's face, that's a start,
Putting together an experience like this takes more than just volunteers. It takes money. And every year, like clockwork, the Montreal chapter, much like every other chapter, holds fundraising events to allow the tradition to continue.
Entrance to the park, we have to rent buses there. We feed all the volunteers and all the children. We buy them gifts when we're there, and we clothe them from head to toe. And it's quite an undertaking just to raise the money every year. The flight is a big event, but the bigger event is raising the funds every year. First year was basically just raising money, and I figured I needed $50,000. And the day before we went, I deposited the $50,000 in the bank. So it all worked. But now when it comes to cost, our fuel costs almost what the whole flight cost in those days.
Hi, my name is René Potvin. I'm the treasurer of Dreams Take Flight Montreal since the beginning, 1995. So it's going to be my 24th year this year. So, and 23 flight so far. Fortunately, we've been lucky with the fundraising for the last few years, and I was able to put 2 flights aside. So if we ever don't have any fundraising a year, a bad year, we have a spare, a backup to have another flight. Throughout the years, we have one main fundraising, which is the Golf Classic that happens every first Thursday of August. So that's the main one.
We have a huge golf tournament where we have a course where there's 2 full 18-hole courses. We fill both courses. We have about 300 golfers. That brings in a lot of money, and we have auctions and all that kind of stuff at the tournament. But you have to move on with fundraising. You have to come up with fresh ideas. So we have a new idea for next year, but it's a secret.
Coming up, we head back to the most magical place on Earth.
Our community will return after the break.
We now return to our community.
My favorite part of the day was when I met the princesses. Rapunzel and Tinkerbell. Well, Tinkerbell's not a princess, but that counts for me. And like Cinderella and all the other princesses.
Every stop throughout the day is unexpected for these special kids. From meeting Mickey Mouse and Disney princesses to the thrill of being on more rides than imagined.
My favorite ride was the space one, where we go really with sharp turns, and then it was super fun.
Space Mountain, a roller coaster completely in the dark, a small world, an adventure through every culture on our planet. Splash Mountain, an old-style log ride set to the story of Disney's Brer Rabbit from the 1946 animated motion picture Song of the South. And the thrill of other rides and sights were just more and more stimulation, like walking through the many shops on Disney's Main Street. Every moment unexpected as the day came to a close and everyone headed back to the hangar for a sleepy flight home.
It's like a school bus going down. It's crazy. And coming back, it's very quiet. There's a lot of sleepy kids. When we return, we give them a little plush toy, a Mickey or a Minnie, depending if it's a boy or girl. And the flight attendants make these beautiful pillows for them that they can take home. And we give them their own blanket they can take home. So they're all cuddled up with their Mickey plush toy, and most of them sleep on the way home.
When the plane touches down late at night in Montreal and the kids wave goodbye, it marks the completion of the 24th consecutive year of Dreams Take Flight. 24 years of passion and millions of man-hours dedicated to making a difference in the lives of countless children with disabilities and hardships of all kinds.
We had an experience before, and that's probably the biggest experience I got so far. A kid that is in his own world all the time, and the mother says he never talks, he never gives his emotion. And then that night he came back, and at 3 o'clock he was sleeping, and he just started talking and told her mom all what he did during the day.
Just to see a lot of them able to go down and be kids for a day down there and play and laugh and run around and stuff, it's an incredible experience for them.
And even for these kids who have, as I say, a lot of barriers, this is a good day. You know, no one yelled at them, no one tried to hit them, they didn't get an exam wrong at school, they didn't get a test wrong, they didn't come in last in the race at gym. Everything's good.
For Mia and every other child who took part in this year's journey, they head home with hand-picked souvenirs, and more importantly, countless memories they will never forget, and a picture that will remain imprinted on their minds for the rest of their lives.
I want to introduce my brothers and sisters to the princess. Second, I want to bring them to Space Mountain. And then after that, I want to bring them to the train. The wild train.
Yes.
And then after, I want to bring them to the Splash Mountain. Then After I want to do the other space one where you shoot the stuff. Then after we're gonna do pirates. And then after I'm at all those rides, I'm gonna do the ones I didn't do. And then after that, I want to go buy something. I want them to go to the store and buy something.
But it isn't too long after that the work begins for the 25th edition of the Montreal chapter of Dreams Take Flight.
We take most of December, the end of December off. January we rest, and then February we start right back into it. We know enough to know we're going to change every year. It's funny, you do it, I keep saying it's going to get easier, that's what I told my wife the first year, but it actually gets harder every year because we always change something, because we always find a better way to do it, or maybe the way we did it didn't suit someone, or it wasn't the best way, so we're always changing. It's like the world, we just keep changing.
And every year the program evolves. Fundraising activities get larger, and more adventurous, and more volunteers get involved to make the next trip even better and more memorable. Dreams Take Flight truly is an organization that makes a difference. A measurable difference in the lives of countless children who for one day get to be what they are. Kids having fun, forgetting about any hardships, and being kids. And as we followed this journey, it's clear that the mission of Dreams Take Flight, make magical memories for special kids, is one that is clearly accomplished every year.
I just got to say, to put a smile on a child's face, make magical memories for special kids.
Producer Marco Flalo. Videographers Jocelyn Deguise, Marco Flalo, Will Attar. Video editing Will Attar, Marco Flalo, Miriam Bakhtiar. Audio Will Attar, Marco Flalo. Production assistant Wendy Kaufman. Coloring Will Attar, Marco Flalo. Integrated Described Video Specialist M. Williams. Regional Content Specialist Karen McGee. Senior Producer Jennifer Johnson. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2019, Accessible Media Inc.